Are you ready?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be a delivered this deep six.
This is episode 108 of the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast. It's been a little while since we've done an episode, but Greg, thank you so much for joining tonight on relatively kind of impromptu notice. I was itching to get an episode out tonight. Thank you so much for hopping on. How you been, man?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for having me, and can't wait. This is probably the most excited I've been for WrestleMania since probably Cena versus The Rock. So happy to be here.
This is speaking for myself, this is one of the most anticipated WrestleManias that I could think of in quite a while, maybe since 30, to be honest with you. Every WrestleMania is anticipated, but this one just feels a little special because it's been a while, 10 years since the last major anniversary. So it's WrestleMania 40. This is 40 years. And you just kind of expect something big to happen this year, you know?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's the 40th anniversary and feeling old. The first WrestleMania I watched live was WrestleMania 5. So
Wow.
WrestleMania 40.
Wow. Unbelievable. Well, we have some things to unpack here, especially with the main event, updated main event with Cody versus Roman Reigns for the Universal WWE Championship. However, those of you guys that are watching, feel free to please give us a like, drop some comments. We want to talk to you. It's not about just us. Those of you guys that are watching, drop some comments. We'd love to talk to you and have your thoughts about this year's WrestleMania. And feel free to give us a like. That will help us out. Last week, we had over our most viewed so far, over 6,000 views on our YouTube channel. So we're definitely grateful for that. When you guys like our episodes, that helps us out a lot. So that was a huge week last week, and we're not even at WrestleMania week. There's gonna be a lot of content coming. I'm hoping to do a video with Chris Van Vliet at WrestleCon, and that will be in 2 weeks in Philadelphia. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully we can get it. We just want to get them for 1 minute. Just 1 minute on either Friday or Saturday to get his thoughts on who's going to win against Cody and Roman. So hopefully we'll have that uploaded for you before Sunday for sure. But this is WrestleMania season. Greg, thank you so much for hopping on tonight. And let's cut to the chase. We're not going to be long because we want to get to the Cody Roman stuff as soon as possible. Because I feel like that's really like the biggest conversation out of this year's WrestleMania. A lot of people saying that this WrestleMania is not going to be that great, blah, 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 blah. The card hasn't filled out yet. All chatter. But this is one of the most anticipated main events in a long time. So, Greg, really quick before we start running down the card, how are you feeling about the WrestleMania build so far? Are you feeling optimistic about this year's Mania?
I'm feeling very optimistic. I think that as far as going back since last year, I probably would have booked Roman to lose multiple times. As far as in the big matches, the big match that he had with Sami Zayn, I would have put Sami Zayn over, and I probably would have been wrong each time because I feel like it's built up to this, and having Roman's wrong title run is going to be all the more special for Cody when he takes him down. So I think some of the big manias of all time are really built on one match, and I think that having that one huge match, and then this year that you have the tag match as well, I think it's been a really good built show.
It's been a pretty exciting build, and you have The Rock in there. Basically, he kind of almost screwed up the build, and WWE kind of dug themselves out of a hole, getting them back on the original track of Roman versus Cody. So that's a whole nother conversation right there. But I'm very, very excited about this build that we're getting. Let's run down the card really quick, throw some quick predictions in some of these matches, and we'll get back into the Cody versus Roman Reigns match in a second. Those of you guys that are watching, drop some comments, like, and we want to hear what you guys have to say about WrestleMania 40 coming up in just 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Exactly 2 weeks from now, Cody. We believe we finishing the story, but we'll talk more about that in a second. So really quick, we have the possibility of Kabuki Warriors versus Bianca Belair and Naomi as a women's tag team title match. However, this could easily possibly be a 6-woman with Kabuki Warriors, Dakota Kai, against Bianca and Naomi. And if they want to get Jade Cargill in a match, I think they will make this a 6-woman tag. Jade Cargill will be on SmackDown this Friday. Why would they put her on SmackDown this Friday, this close to WrestleMania? You got to think there's got to be a purpose. So I'm believing that this could turn into a 6-woman where Jade's going to help out against Kabuki Warriors. Greg, where do you stand with this?
If they do, that would make sense. If not, I think Bianca, they would definitely would get the win. And then I think if they bring Jade in, then that would be the build for the Bianca Jade match down the line.
Absolutely. And keep in mind, Bianca has not lost a WrestleMania match. This would be her 4th one, I believe. Yeah, Bianca needs something to do. And I believe that this match is definitely happening at Mania. The question is if they turn this into a 6-woman tag, and I believe that's going to happen because why else would you bring Jade Cargill in 2 weeks before Mania? So I believe this is going to be a 6-woman. Dakota Kai, to my understanding, is she's working more. She's a little bit more active in the ring. So I'm expecting at least a tag team title match, if not a 6-woman tag, which is probably what it's going to be. How do you feel about the LA Knight versus AJ Styles build right now on SmackDown? They showed footage of LA Knight going to AJ's house, and they had an all-out brawl. The cops put the handcuffs on LA Knight. I was pretty amused by it. You didn't see anything like this under the Vince McMahon era, especially the last couple of years. Everything was just all cookie cutter, stale booking, lack of backstage, lack of out of arena stuff. But I've seen this change over the past couple months where they're doing more backstage stuff, and now they had LA Knight going to AJ Styles' house. So I'm starting to actually get invested into this feud. Before I throw my opinion on who I think might win this match, how are you feeling about this feud so far?
I think LA Knight definitely cooled off. Be expected since you can only have so many people hot at once. And I think he cooled off a little bit, but I agree with you on that recent booking. I thought it was pretty well done. And at the end of the day, AJ Styles at WrestleMania always delivers. I mean, I think he had a good match with Shane a few years ago. He brought Shane into a good match. He had a great last match with The Undertaker. So I'm looking forward to it. And as far as who I think is going to win, I probably think that you put LA Knight over in this situation to help try to heat him back up.
Yeah, I think he gets a WrestleMania win here. To my understanding, I believe AJ Styles might be going away to rest for a little while. I would imagine from what it sounds like, he'll be back after 1 or 2 pay-per-views or so. So I got LA Knight. You are right. He is still over, but has cooled down a little bit. But that's because you've had people such as CM Punk come in. You had The Rock come in. And then there's other factors we still have to talk about, but that kind of knocked people down a peg a little bit in during the holidays. And then Punk gets injured, and then whatever it may be, I feel like LA Knight probably would have had there would have been a little bit more of a planned prominent role had those guys not really come in around Survivor Series. But I believe LA Knight does get the win here. And then you can kind of, get ready for the new year between WrestleMania 40 and 41 and, try to get a IC or a US title on him. Probably US title would be a little bit more fit for LA Knight. So far we have the New Day versus Awesome Truth versus DIY. Against Judgment Day in the 6-pack tag team title match, ladder match, I believe it is. The other two matches from the other two tag teams from the SmackDown side are still yet to be determined as far as who will be represented for the other two teams. My question is, do you think we get a surprise tag team here? Um, who do you got winning this? Like, who's your favorite right now to become the tag team champions, or does Judgment Day retain?
Well, for a surprise, I know Matt Hardy showed up a couple weeks ago Raw, so I don't know if that's a possibility at all. But I know that would be quite the surprise to have it at WrestleMania 40. But I don't know their contract situation. I think my sentimental pick for this one is DIY because I was at the Barclays Center when they had one of the best tag matches I've ever seen live at NXT Takeover a few years back. I don't recall the year, but such an amazing tag team match that they had in Brooklyn. So they're my sentimental picks. I'm going to go with them.
A couple months ago, around Survivor Series, I would have told you DIY. That's kind of the tag team that I want to see win. Although it seems like Awesome Truth has been built up and poised a little bit more since they've been feuding with Judgment Day for the last few months now. Um, Storyline wise, it would probably make sense, and we're expecting Awesome Truth to probably win this, at least my opinion. Our Truth has never had a win in at WrestleMania, and and that being said, he hasn't had a WrestleMania moment. The Miz has, obviously, WrestleMania 27, and a couple the year before he's had a couple of WrestleMania wins, but not our Truth. Our Truth hasn't had his moment. He's been killing it. I feel like the favorites might be Awesome Truth. I would be just as happy if DIY won.
Yeah, and I can't believe how over our Truth is right now. So at the Royal Rumble live, and he is definitely over. So I mean, that's a good point. With the Judgment Day closing that feud out, and the other tag team I was thinking about, I don't know their contract situation would be the Dudleys to have in a ladder match. So that came to my mind thinking WrestleMania 40. You could bring the Dudleys in, and that in Philadelphia, the home of ECW, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's been a rumor that's been swirling around. So I guess that kind of remains to be seen there. Would not be surprised if that happens. I'm not too sure how good they move anymore, especially Devon. But I know Bubba Ray can probably still work a little bit. Yes, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm not too sure if I would see Hardy's as a surprise tag team at this point. Dudley's could make a little bit more sense since it's Philadelphia. So that's a pretty good call right there. To your point, DIY has been heating up for the past few weeks on Raw. You could tell by the fan reaction. And they've been having some banger matches, especially with the Creed brothers last week. Amazing. So that's something to keep an eye on there. Would not be surprised if DIY wins. But right now I'm kind of slightly leaning towards Awesome Truth, although I would like to see DIY win as well. Okay. Jimmy versus Jay. This is the third brother versus brother. If you want to talk about kayfabe, this is the fifth brother versus brother because Undertaker and Kane were booked as brothers, but they're not blood brothers. This is the third brother versus brother match by blood in WrestleMania 10. It was in WrestleMania 40. It was done at WrestleMania 10. Owen versus Bret Hart, which was a great match, arguably one of the best opening matches of all time. It was done at WrestleMania 25. Matt Hardy versus Jeff. We saw Matt Hardy got the win there. So he was being pushed as a single star, as a version 1 Matt Hardy. And now we have Jimmy versus Jay, which I think this is going to be a banger. I think this is going to be a super kick party for sure. What are your thoughts on this?
So the first reaction would be go with Jay, but I think given that where my prediction is going to lie in the Roman match versus Cody, and since I think Jay is really over right now as Jay main event, so I really think that you probably have to give the win to Jimmy. So I'm going to go with Jimmy in this one just because of where I think they're going to go, and I don't see them having, them lose all of the main matches. So I'm going to go with Jimmy in that.
Yeah, that's a very good call there. I don't feel like Bloodline is gonna get the clean. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Based on my prediction for the main event, I don't think it's gonna be like a clean sweep here. I think Jimmy gets the win. Jay has been hot though. Jay Uso has been very hot. A win could do him very good. But I feel like Jimmy might need it slightly more here. Um, I think this arguably could be one of the best brother versus brother matches that we've seen. I have a feeling it's probably going to open WrestleMania. I think that'd be a pretty good call. Uh, any other thoughts on that match?
Not just that. I think
Do you
Jimmy.
think they make up?
Yes, but not now. I don't think now's the time for them to make up. I think they will make up, but I don't think now's the time. I think when probably another 6 months from now or a year from now. But I think now's the time. Give Jimmy the win, keep it going, and then eventually, after maybe Rock Reigns happens, then I think you can kind of have Jimmy and Jay reunite.
For sure. I think you're right about that. It would probably convolute the story a little bit to have Jimmy and Jay make up. Um, Again, I mean, with the Bloodline main event that we have going on with Cody and Roman, there's so many different angles that they can go in. For all we know, Jay could turn. Jimmy and Jay have their match the night before, and Jay could turn the next night. Who knows? But yeah, I'm leaning a little bit more towards um, a 6 months to a year. A lot can change between now and WrestleMania 41 for sure. Um, let's see. So that's that. Logan Paul versus Randy versus Kevin Owens. It's been an okay build. Logan Paul, his persona's um, his persona's grown on me. And he's one heck of an athlete. I think he's surprised a lot of people over the last year or two. And he's actually been pretty exciting to watch. I guess you can probably go as far as say he's must see when that bell rings. How you feeling about the U.S. title belt? Do you believe it should have been Randy Orton and KO? Do you think that maybe LA Knight should have gotten this spot?
I actually rewatched last year's Mania match between Logan Paul and Seth Rollins. I had forgotten what a really good match that was actually last year, and I think I'm okay with the LA Knight getting his one-on-one match with AJ because that could be with any match with AJ at WrestleMania could steal the show. So I think it's a good spot for the three of them to be in. Given that Randy Orton is just such a great professional wrestler. Like I know some people love a lot of high spots and Randy Orton doesn't give you that, but everything the guy does in the ring looks great. Kevin Owens has delivered multiple times at WrestleMania, and the athleticism that Logan Paul has. I think it's gonna be a really good three-way match actually for the U.S. title. If I had to predict a winner in this one, I think Randy Orton gets the win. He does not that he needs it, but I think it would be really cool. He's going to be the most over guy in the match, I think, coming out there. Given since he's come back, he's looked really good. So I think he gets the win.
That is really probable. Yeah, not too sure if KO is going to get it. It's a really tough one to call. I would not be surprised if Logan Paul walks out title holder. Would not be surprised. But yeah, this is really like a tough one to call for me. Paul's had it for a while now, going on about 6 months, and I think he's done a good job with it. I feel like his title reign may have a little bit more legs under it. Um, I think, my opinion, I thought it was going to be LA Knight to get this U.S. title spot, but a lot of that had changed because people coming and going. I have a feeling that still is a possibility. It may be saved for SummerSlam. I could be wrong. I'm just not too sure if I see Randy or Kevin with the title right now. But if you want to continue to build Logan Paul and kind of cement his legacy a little more, build him up for other things, I think you got to give Logan Paul the win over here because that would be a really big feather in the cap to have a win over Randy and Kevin. What do you think?
No, it definitely makes sense. And I've never seen a guy more natural in the ring. It's like I wanted to hate the guy because I'm not a big fan of these YouTubers, but I have to give him credit. He really is amazing in his short run. I mean, him and Bad Bunny are just I mean, Bad Bunny only had a couple matches, but the two of them just amazed me that they're able to just jump in there and wrestle like they've been doing this for years. And Logan Paul just has the instincts. Like if you watch him, he knows what he's doing in the ring as far as just to have that heel reaction. And I can see your point with Cleveland having SummerSlam, and Logan Paul is from Cleveland, so that does make sense to have him go in there. So I think you may be onto something there.
That's a really, really good point. Speaking of Cleveland, I have the idea of possibly going. Maybe not. I really got to see because WrestleMania tickets go on sale around that time. So keep that in mind. But we're also trying to get press passes for the Aftermath Pro Wrestling podcast so we can get into like Skybox. And so we've been applying for months now. So hopefully that happens. And if it doesn't, we're just going to keep applying for pay-per-views until they finally let us in. But we did the application for WrestleMania this year. Actually, I just filled it out about a week ago. So that remains to be seen if that happens. But I don't know. I gotta figure out. I might end up going anyway. I would like to take a nice little summer trip, so we'll see if that happens to be SummerSlam or not. But anyhow, let's see what else we got on the current updated wrestling. Okay, Intercontinental title match: Gunther versus Sami Zayn. Last week we saw, or 2 weeks ago rather, we saw the gauntlet for number one contender. And I really truly believed that this was going to be Chad Gable because it just seems like the most natural storyline. And I get like we got to give Sami Zayn something to do. But I felt like that was kind of a little forced. And now they're working hard to really make it feel important. Like I almost feel like there's still hope for Chad Gable in the sense that over the next 2 weeks he could probably insert himself into the make it a triple threat match. Maybe he interferes. What are you thinking about this Intercontinental title program right now between Gunther and Sammy?
So to start with that gauntlet match, that was a great match. I really loved.
Banger.
I really loved the. It was the first day of Ramadan, and I loved the announcers throwing in there that Sami Zayn had a fast all day. That gave some realism to it that I don't think in the old WWE you would have probably had. I thought that was pretty cool, and I just thought that match was really good. But I would say that I'm with you that I do think that Gable is the one that the story's building to break the streak of Gunther as far as his Intercontinental title reign. So I think that if it remains one-on-one, I think Gunther gets the win. And if Gable inserts himself, then I think I would probably go with Gable. Gunther is ready right now to go for the main event. I think he's probably, I don't know, SummerSlam or next year, but he's going to definitely probably be one of the contenders for Cody, no doubt. So I don't know if you do that with the Intercontinental title. I still think they missed the boat on Gunther versus Roman with both championship reigns, having it, have both championship reigns go up against each other. But I guess that wasn't in the plans for them. But I think if it's a one-on-one match, I think Gunther gets the win because I do think Gable is going to be the guy to take it from him. And if Gable inserts himself, then I think Gable gets the win.
I can't I can't agree more. I think you're very much spot on there. I think somehow this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking over the next week or two. I'm kind of looking for somehow Chad Gable to insert himself into this Intercontinental title program. And if that's the case, I think he finally gets it, because then this would be the third time he'd be going against Gunther. Sammy is a little bit more, in a way, kind of a made superstar. He doesn't really need a title to be made. He's just organically over. Um, you got to think about the future here. And Chad, if you want to make a new star, you gotta give uh, Gunther's loss, when he loses the title, has to be very important. He needs to be just like Roman. He needs to be pinned clean, and when that happens, that's instantly going to make another star. And I think it's got to be a young guy. It's got to be a Gable or a Braun Breaker here, for sure. Um, the Gunther's title reign has become so important that the person that beats him is just, his stock is just going to go right up. And I think you give that to a guy like Chad Gable to prep him, get himself ready to become a big star and part of the main event scene between now and the next 10 years, between now and WrestleMania 50. Because I believe Chad Gable is going to be, as long as he stays healthy, is going to be around for at least the next 10 years. And you got Braun Breaker, who's up and coming. I mean, are they saving the IC title, Gunther's IC title, to lose to a Braun Breaker at like SummerSlam or something? To your point, I've been saying it for the last 6 months now, since the middle of 2023, going back to July of 2023, that I can see Cody winning the belt, kicking off, having that big WrestleMania 40 payoff, kind of like WrestleMania 30, 20, and 10, kicking off the new decade with a big win, and then having Cody versus Gunther at Survivor Series or WrestleMania 41, because there's magic there. WWE definitely, in my opinion, has that match in mind, and I believe that's definitely going to happen for sure. Cody versus Gunther, big face versus heel match that they can do. What do you think?
No, definitely agree. And then just one Gunther Sami Zayn match. If it is even I mean with Gable added too, but even if it's 1-on-1, that could be the match of the WrestleMania though. That's the one thing I think those two guys are capable of having the best wrestled match with the card that we have. So and with Gable, and I think it would be as well too. So it's my early prediction for the Savage Steamboat in honor of their IC belt. I do think that's going to be a hell of a match.
No doubt about it. I mean, honestly, Gunther has had the best matches in all of the WWE over the past year. No doubt about it. The Gunther matches have been the ones that I've been looking forward to most. He's the best wrestler in WWE right now, in my opinion. If you want to say all around, as far as character, mic skills, whatever, that's debatable. But when that bell rings, Gunther has been the best. He's had the best matches in WWE. Every match has been a banger, strategically planned. Sami Zayn versus Gunther will be, arguably, probably could be the match of the night. There's another match that could possibly be match of the night too as well, which we'll get to in 1 second. But that is an excellent point that you make there. Gunther versus Sami could very well be the match of the night. If here's the thing, if Chad Gable somehow gets in this match and makes it a triple threat, you know who's eating the pin, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Gunther's not taking the pin. Sami Zayn's gonna get the pin, but then I don't know. It could be a wasted opportunity to make a new star, but I guess maybe they would want to protect Gunther for the next level, because I believe he's going to be in that main event picture, as he pretty much already is. But going for like a main title over the next year, I would say by WrestleMania 41, Gunther will have already had a couple title matches under his belt already, for sure, 1 or 2, or he'll be in a title picture at the latest by WrestleMania 41. I could see him versus Cody or Survivor Series which is rumored to be the Garden. I don't know. IWC's making stuff up, but we'll see. Okay, so getting back to the match, which I feel like could very well steal the show, should be the WrestleMania Night 1 main event. But I have a feeling that's not going to happen. Becky Lynch challenging Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. This has been a pretty fun build. I think this has been the more important build of a women's match more than any other women's match that's planned on this card. Becky's been doing some good work. Rhea is super over right now, but I feel like Rhea needs her biggest win's been against Nia Jax, and that was a really good built feud. But I feel like Rhea needs another feather in her cap for this title reign. Although we can't forget she beat Charlotte Flair last year, big win for the World Heavyweight Championship. But I feel like this is Becky Lynch's Rhea's biggest opponent, and I think you have to kind of help cement Rhea Ripley's legacy a little bit more. And I think you give Rhea Ripley the win here over Becky Lynch, and then maybe you can revisit in a couple months. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think Rhea is ready to lose this title? Should Becky take it? Should it be saved for maybe, I don't know, Tiffany Stratton or Bianca Belair? They tease that. I'm very sure Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair are going to get the one-on-one match next year. What do you think?
I think Rhea gets the win, and sometimes I look through. They're not going to change every single title, and I think this is one of the titles that they're going to keep on Rhea, because I do think she has more to go with the title. She's been great. She's definitely elevated herself. It's crazy to see that how much she's come in the last couple of years as far as being one of the most over people in general on the roster. So I think she gets the win just by looking for some of the other title matches that we're predicting changes with. I think because of that, I'm going with Rhea retaining.
Yeah, I feel like Rhea Ripley's going to get it here. She's had a phenomenal 2023 into 2024. She's must see at this point. I like when Rhea Ripley comes on my TV. She's got the talk down. She's got the look down. When the bell rings, she's having good matches with everybody. She's having even good matches with Nia Jax. Nia Jax is
Becky did have a good match.
Been more safer. Oh my gosh! Last week's was that Falls Count Anywhere, if I'm not mistaken, or was it Last Woman Standing? And Becky Lynch with that leg drop off the top of the ladder onto Nia Jax through the table, and the call that Pat McAfee and Michael Cole made is basically viral on Instagram and TikTok. It was a great call. Michael Cole, Pat McAfee going nuts. Great way to end Raw. Great match. You can say what you want to say about Nia Jax, but she's doing her job as the gatekeeper to the WWF title. I'm sorry, WWE Women's Championship. So she's been doing very good in that role. May she get rewarded eventually? Who knows? I think after WrestleMania 40 is out of the way, they can kind of hit, kind of start on new plans and what have you. But Rhea Ripley's doing amazing job. I feel like she's going to get rewarded with the WrestleMania win here 2 years in a row.
I think waiting in the win for her is Charlotte, because Charlotte's got to be coming back from that surgery in a few months. And I easily see SummerSlam main event, if she's back in time, to be Charlotte versus Rhea for the title. But like you said, maybe they could go in a different direction as well.
Okay, so about Charlotte Flair, I think the timeline was between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble. It's gonna be a while because she had ACL, and that's 9 months. And 9 months, and you got to figure maybe another month or two after that to kind of just get herself ready, get herself back into in-ring shape. So I'm thinking she might not even be back till Royal Rumble at the latest. Could be Survivor Series though. So we'll have to see there. I'm not. I think SummerSlam might be a little too soon. I don't think she's ready. From what I'm seeing, having gone through Achilles injury, she did ACL, but the timelines are very similar. Um, yeah, sometimes these things take a little while. You can't really just rush into it. Um, but yeah, the average is about 9 to 11 months. Becky, when Bailey injured her ACL, it was just under a year. It was about a year, just with everything. But yeah, so it's gonna be a little bit. I don't expect it for SummerSlam, but you never know. World Heavyweight Title: Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, which I believe will kick off night 2. So, who do you got? I think it might be a little obvious. I think Drew's been doing one heck of a job in this build, acting like the tweener slash heel. Seth has had this for about 11 months now. It's just over 300 days had the since he won the World Heavyweight Title against
Well,
AJ Styles.
yeah, McIntyre has been awesome the last months. I mean, my one of my favorite runs of all time is Bret Hart's '97 run, and I think that McIntyre, who was a humongous Bret Hart fan, is basically echoing that this year. And I mean, that shirt that he wore with the gravestone on it for Punk was amazing. And I think Punk's announcement that he's going to be in Philadelphia is what led me to believe that I think Seth gets the win here, because I think Punk comes out and costs. I think Punk comes out and costs Drew the match, and I think that is Punk's first match when he comes back, is him and Drew, and that plays into the Drew screwed storyline, having Punk come out. And I think that's why originally I was 100% thinking Drew was going to win, and then Punk's announcement made me change that.
That is very, very interesting that you say that. Assuming, I mean, for all we know, Punk may just be doing backstage. He may be just doing commentary. We can't really expect Punk to really be getting physical at this point. I feel like he's at least. I think he's perfectly lined up for a SummerSlam return, in my opinion. So it really depends. That is something to watch out for sure, and very well possibly could happen. The other thing too is Seth Rollins, with his injured MCL, meniscus. He may go away for a couple months, maybe until SummerSlam, maybe Survivor Series, just to kind of heal up and be with family, which leads me to believe that Drew McIntyre could be the one winning this match here.
And you
Any
also
thoughts on that?
have the booming Money in the Bank out there too. So
That's the next thing is, regardless of who wins this match, does Damian Priest show up and cash in the Money in the Bank?
definitely could play into the storyline there. And yeah, I know there was a rumor a while back of Drew McIntyre going into the Judgment Day. So I don't know if that was a rumor that had some smoke to it. I'm not sure. So I think that could play a factor if the cash in happens. But I mean, I think they put that training video of Punk training, looking like he's in pretty good shape. I mean, I don't think he's obviously anywhere near ready to come back until, like
No.
you said, around SummerSlam. But it looks like he's in good enough physical shape that I think he could go out there and cost them. And but they did set up a feud with Punk and Rollins too. So when Punk does come back, he does have a lot of ready-made matches on it. But I think the wild card there is the Money in the Bank. But like I said, so I think I could see Seth getting the win, and then the Money in the Bank cash in happening.
I am very much looking for a possible cash in here. At least, so here's the thing: the WWE has kind of like left it alone for a little bit, thinking that the fans will probably forget about it. We didn't forget about it, but Drew and Damian Priest were going back and forth, interfering in each other's matches. December, January, they've kind of left that alone to, in my opinion, so WWE can, kind of try to get you to forget about it. It would make sense that Damian Priest comes in and cashes in and costs Drew maybe. or just cashes in on Seth. Very, very possible scenario there. Something else to look out for as well. Can't forget they were playing cat and mouse, costing each other the title.
That's a great reminder, and I think makes a lot of sense. I had a wild card idea, but I don't think they would do this. Of in the main event of the night one, when that tag match with Seth being injured, having Priest come in and cash in the Money in the Bank, and then turning the title match into a triple threat, which I don't think is going to happen, but it was just a crazy idea that I had.
Interesting. I mean, listen, time's running out on that Money in the Bank cash in. He's only got 2.5 months left to cash this thing in. I think it's got to be at Mania at this point. I think it's going to happen at Mania. Some kind of an attempt. Maybe he inserts himself in a triple threat match. A lot of possibilities there, to be honest. Okay, 2 of my matches to go. Really quick. I'm not too sure if this really needs a loaded conversation, but I feel like since there's stipulations in place for this match, it's kind of a little obvious to me that you're gonna have Seth and Cody losing to Rock and Roman. Therefore, the Bloodline Rules stipulation gets implemented into the main event the next night between Cody and Roman Reigns. What do you think?
Agreed, and I do think it's really cool that you have a tag match main eventing night one. WrestleMania 1 main event was a tag match, so I think it's cool. WrestleMania 40 tag match main eventing night one, second year in a row too. Tag match main eventing night one. But I think I agree with you. I don't think there's a lot of conversation needed. I think that's the clear direction that they go. It'll just be interesting to see if there's any disagreements between The Rock and Roman on night one that start that tease, even with the winning, even with them getting the win, or if that's going to happen on the next night. But I think you're 100% spot on.
Do you think Drew McIntyre interferes in this match?
Drew, I don't see Drew interfering in this match. I think I do have some ideas. I know that they announced the Rock. They announced Austin is going to be most likely attending. So I don't know. Could you see an Austin Rock showdown night one or night two? I think that would be amazing. I think the roof would get blown off. So I mean, if you have a lot of interference of the Bloodline, which we'll get to in night two, and you have Austin come out and start beating up The Rock, I think that would be one of the biggest highlights of the WrestleMania. I don't really know if I see Drew coming out, but
okay. Because I'm trying to figure out how do they have Cody and Seth? How do they book them to lose? Who takes the pin? Those are just things that I'm wondering about. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean,
I know they signed
if Cody's winning the next night, I'm not too sure if you have him lose or maybe a Bloodline interferes, and this way, if Cody or Seth take the pin, it's not clean. I think that's how you have to do it.
I know they. I know there's a rumor that they signed. I don't know if it's a rumor, if it's
Tama Tonga.
Yes, so I don't know if you could see him debut. With the Bloodline coming out, I mean, you could have Jimmy Uso come out as well, and Solo Sikoa, and that Bloodline interference leads to the win. And then I guess I doubt it's a possibility, but I mean, there's always Brock, who was put back on the roster page. I think it's a little bit too soon to bring him back.
Brock actually was never taken off the roster, so that was a big rumor. It was confirmed by Fightful recently that Brock was never taken off the roster, and someone on their Fightful team was always checking. Brock was never taken off, but a lot of other somewhat big name wrestling websites were reporting that Lesnar was taken off. That was never the case.
So if I mean, you could have a guy like Brock come out.
He was erased from the video game.
Yes, very true.
So this is true.
But I think that you have the interference from the Bloodline. I think Seth's gonna can easily take the. I don't think you can have Cody take the pin night one. The only way you could have Cody take the pin night one is if it's by The Rock, and The Rock gets the pin on Cody. Cody then beats Roman, and then they go to Cody versus The Rock. I think that's the only finish that would make sense there, because Cody already lost to Roman last year, so I don't think you want to have him lose the second time. But
Correct.
if you have Rock beat him and
Yeah.
The Rock and Cody, The Rock and Cody feels like a really big match right now, one-on-one. So I think that is a possibility.
I think you have to kind of sort of keep Cody away from Roman Reigns a little bit. And then kind of have Seth tango more with Roman, a little bit of Rock, but have Seth more so with Roman in the ring, and I think you got to keep Cody away from Roman a little bit. The other thing I'm a little concerned about too with this match is the possibility of injury. I hope they have a backup plan if, God forbid, one of these guys get injured. I really do, because now you're putting your main events at risk the next night. And I get it, and I know these guys are working 3-4 nights a week, and a lot of times consecutive nights, especially Cody, he's working consecutive nights. But that's just my concern, because now we're talking about big stage here, WrestleMania. You have this big main event, 2 main events in place for night 2. God forbid somebody gets hurt in night 1. That's really my only other concern to talk about here, is hopefully WWE has a backup plan. What do you think?
That's a good point. I mean, think about The Rock, the last real WrestleMania match that he had, because he did have that match against Rowan that doesn't really count in my book as a match, even though in the official books it is a match. But the last real WrestleMania match that he had, he got hurt in against John Cena. So, definitely agree that's a possibility. The good thing is they do have a lot of guys over, and they could always make that adjustment. They do have a lot of guys over that can jump in there. But I think, Seth, you're going to put Seth Rollins on the show at WrestleMania, and I understand your concern, because he's going to go out there and he's going to try to steal the show no matter what, in that match. Cody's going to go out there and try to steal the show in that match. Roman and The Rock are going to do what they do. So I think they'll be okay, but I do understand your concern.
Yeah, it's a big concern, because this is something that's never been done, not with WrestleMania main events on the line here. So I am truly concerned. I don't really truly know how good Seth Rollins is to go.
Yeah, they have done the same day though. So if you think about it, like they've had, like you said, Hart and Hart before the Hart's in the main event. They had Daniel Bryan versus Triple H before he was in the main event. So
this is true.
So at least they get one night. But I understand your concern because of The Rock.
This is very true. This is a very, very true point that you make. So we have a couple more minutes left. Those of you guys that are watching, please give us a like. Just hit that little like button, that thumbs up. That would help us out a lot. Subscribe, that would be even better. But liking our videos helps us out a lot. Feel free to jump in with some comments. We have about 12 minutes left. We're going to jump right in and talk to you guys. Here we go. This is one of the most anticipated matches in quite recent history. I've been talking about this since last year when WrestleMania 39 went off the air, that they should run this back. Cody should have won it last year, but you know what? It sets up an even bigger moment for WrestleMania 40. If you don't pull the trigger on Cody, people are going to get tired. They're not going to be as invested. And I think the time is now. Cody is more primed to win now more than ever. So here we got a comment here. If Roman wins clean against Cody, oh my gosh, Philadelphia is going to riot. That stadium will burn down, and I will help. If my boss is watching right now, which he might be, if I'm not at work that Tuesday, probably because I got locked up in the Philadelphia jail. Plain and simple, I will help out with the riots, because I've been calling this for a year now. I've been talking about this, and Greg, quite possibly you've had the same ideas because you have a great wrestling mind. But
there's the bad kind of heat, and there's the good kind of heat. And I think
oh man,
I think it's the expression now Lex Luger, because you have Lex Luger at the SummerSlam versus Yokozuna in 1993. He's got that bus tour after slamming Yokozuna on the U.S. Intrepid, goes into SummerSlam and then doesn't win the title and lost all the momentum. And somehow they wound up surviving Cody not winning last year, which I didn't think they were going to be able to. So they wound up, to your point, it's bigger this year. So they made the right call. And I think that, that time is now for Cody. And the only way that you would be able to salvage him for anything if he loses would be to turn him heel. And he wouldn't be anywhere near as big of a heel as he is a babyface right now. So I think you have to, the times now, you have to have Roman end this long streak. I mean, the only thing that they're thinking in the back of their mind is, I think it's around September, is when Roman would break the modern streak for the longest consecutive heavyweight championship.
It's not even. I mean, it's not even the record. It's not even the record. It's Roman's barely even fighting 4 matches a year. It's not even the record. I don't know why it has to be a thing. So what I've been because Randy Zaya from the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast, make sure you guys check them out. He's been saying, "Oh, Hulk Hogan, the record is in September, October. They may want to have Roman beat that." Okay, so you plan to do that. What's your big payoff for WrestleMania 40 to close the show? What bigger moment can you plan for WrestleMania 40 to go off the air than to have Cody win? There's none. You got to close out your WrestleMania 40 with something big, like 30 with Daniel Bryan winning, like 20 Benoit winning and hugging Eddie Guerrero. Gosh, watching that back a couple days ago almost made me cry. WrestleMania 10, Bret Hart. So I just don't think if you're gonna push somebody to beat the record, I mean, you just may as well have Roman Reigns hold the title for another 4 years. I just don't think it's gonna make a big difference because this is the biggest reign in modern era in almost 40 years.
And if
since Hogan lost it.
Yeah, if you were going to go in that direction, you shouldn't have had Cody. You shouldn't have had Cody win the Rumble, and you could have saved Cody. I did hear an idea that made sense, that if Roman was going to break the record, have it be at the Garden after he already breaks the record, and then this way Cody at the arena where his dad in the storyline, didn't win the belt when he won by count out versus against Superstar Billy Graham. You save it for the Garden, but then he's not going to lose now. So and it's not even the real record, as you said. Bruno has the real record. So
I mean, listen, that's extreme. That's an extreme possibility. I have Cody winning at 40. I have the bloodline coming out. I have all the people that Roman did wrong, like AJ Styles, Jey Uso, KO, Randy Orton. I have all of them coming out and clearing out the bloodline. I have Stone Cold Steve Austin's music hitting. Night 2, that glass will break. The Rock will have the look on his face. Stone Cold's going to come out, stun the Rock. Rock is going to do his little flip. Maybe he'll be upside down, hitting the ropes. He's going to sell that stunner. And I have Stone Cold Steve Austin taking the shirt off and revealing the referee shirt. Because anything goes. Anything goes. It's an anything goes match. It's going to be a bloodline rules match.
As long as nobody coming out touches Roman, because that will take away. So as long as everybody's coming out is interfering with the bloodline people that's coming out, nobody can touch Roman, because that has to be Cody's win alone.
Yeah, the last 5 minutes of the match have Austin as the referee, because the ref bump already happened already. have Austin as the referee, and count to 3. Cody wins. You have Cody's wife there. Maybe you have Dustin Runnels, Cody's daughter. You have Farrell come in the ring. They're all celebrating. Confetti. You gotta do it at WrestleMania 40. I get, okay, maybe the Garden, but my question is, will Cody's clearly the baby face of the company right now, but will people still be invested in the story by then? Will people be tired of the finish the storyline after WrestleMania if this continues?
I think they will be. So I think you're right, and I do think Austin versus The Rock, that will be a WrestleMania moment. I mean, that match has 3 times at WrestleMania they fought. I'm trying to remember WrestleMania 15. Was that in Philly?
Yes.
Fought for the first time. Yes, it was, because I always get 14 and 15 confused. 14 was in Boston. Both Pete Rose appearances. 14 and 15. And with tombstones by Kane. So WrestleMania 15 the first time, and I think that roof will come off the non-roof building in the Lincoln Financial when it comes to Stone Cold coming out hitting Rock with the stunner, like you said.
I think that's going to happen. He's getting in shape. It's been on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want to call it. He's getting in shape. He's got the Philly 316 shirt you can see on the WWE shop. I mean, come on now. And this is the 40th anniversary. You got to have some veterans come back. I think Stone Cold is going to be the one to interfere in this match to come to Cody's save when he looks down and out.
And what a champion Roman's been, though. I mean, he's really elevated.
Phenomenal.
It's been, definitely after all those years where people were so against him being the champion. And I mean, the guy came back from cancer and still had to turn heel.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be the biggest babyface ever when he came back from cancer.
Yeah.
Fans still wound up turning on him, and they went with it. And now he's poised to be a huge babyface. I can't take credit for this. I have to give it to Dutch Mantel, who I listen to his podcast from time to time. And he brought up a great scenario where it's Gunther versus Cody down the line, and Roman comes out and helps Cody. And then you have Roman and Cody together for a period of time before you wind up going back to Roman and Cody, which does seem like a great idea down the line. But I think Roman's title reign has been great, and it's going to make Cody. The one question I have is Cody has all the momentum with the finish of the story, but once he gets there and arrives, how great of a champion will he be? And that remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to start something fresh. He's going to get some new opponents, and then they're going to build the Cody Gunther. My friend Randy, he asked me, okay, Cody wins, then what? Well, I told him they're going to start they'll start, have new opponents, and then they're going to build the Gunther, because I think that's really where they want to get to. Cody versus Gunther is happening, and I think it's going to be a title scenario where Cody would drop it to Gunther when the time comes. A couple more comments. We have we'll try to keep it about another minute and a half or so. I can see that happen. Roman will always get the push, and this is a way to get Cody back for AEW creation. No, I don't think if that's what you mean, that he goes back to AEW. I don't think that's
no. I think
happening.
It's that this is because Cody helped create AEW. This is the WWE's way of punishing him by having him lose, which I understand.
That'd be horrible.
Yeah, the old regime that was there, I think, would have done something like that, like having Sting lose to Triple H after those years there, and for the Monday Night War. So I understand why you're going in that direction, but I think with the new regime there, and I think Cody is loyal to Triple H. I think that he's definitely a Triple H guy, and I think he's going to get the win. So
this is the biggest error since the Attitude Era, no doubt about it. Don't you be watching Attitude Era now, Figgy. There's a lot of content that you should not be watching. I know how old you are. You should not be watching Attitude Era. Don't watch Attitude Era. But this is a good era, just as good as the Attitude Era. But maybe later when you get a little older, okay. But
and when you get a little older and check out some of the Attitude Era stuff, you'll realize that a lot of the mid-card matches were awful in the Attitude Era. If you go back and watch some of those WrestleManias during the Attitude Era, it is hard to feel about it. Then that's when it gets great. But so
I would like to see that win, but I think you're dreaming too big. No, I think this is actually what's going to happen. Bloodline's going to interfere. They're going to WWE, the booking, they're going to make you believe that Cody's down and out. The odds are stacked against him. And then Cody's going to have his backup plan that Seth's been asking Cody about for weeks now. Do you have a backup plan? What's your backup plan? Well, Cody's got a backup plan. He's got guys ready to help him out if the bloodline interferes in his match against Roman. And then you'll have Stone Cold just chilling in the back and be like, I'm sick of this. That I'm coming out. I'm going to handle business. That's it. The Rock is turned on Roman. Okay, so Chris, I'm not too sure if Rock turns on Roman here, but assuming Roman does lose, I can see somebody putting the blame Roman putting the blame on The Rock, or Rock putting the blame on Roman, or maybe even Rock takes that red lei that Roman's been carrying around to signify he's a tribal chief and takes it away from Roman as a symbolizing that they're going to start their feud eventually. I'm not too sure if you do that at SummerSlam, and I understand you need a big match to pack out the stadium, and I totally get that. I think it's safe to say now, once Cody finishes the story of WrestleMania 40, that we can all take a deep breath and finally accept the fact that we can finally have Rock versus Roman where it makes sense. WrestleMania 41 main event, no title on the line. You don't need a title there. For Tribal Chief, the title of Tribal Chief on the line at WrestleMania 41.
I thought one way they could go to do it was a triple threat, or when Cody gets the win, then the Bloodline's still together, and they do The Rock, Roman, and Cody in a triple threat at one of the upcoming pay-per-views. And that's where it's like, oh, it's all stacked against Cody. He's got the Bloodline in a triple threat match against him. He's guaranteed to lose. And then that's where you have The Rock and Roman have their disagreements as far as which one of them is going to get the win. Cody winds up getting the win over the two of them, and then that leads to Rock and Roman. And I think I agree with you, Wayne. Next year, WrestleMania 41, that's the spot to do it.
In my opinion, I think it's going to be Minnesota. I've heard Vegas, but I've been hearing more Minnesota, and I've never been there. I need to get a Minnesota Twins game under my belt.
And you got to go to the Mall of America.
I can Mall of America, but I do have 8 stadiums left to visit. So Minnesota would be cool. So I can knock Minnesota Twins game out while I'm there. I've seen too much. I've seen too much from watching the Attitude. Well, I hope you were watching that with parental advisory. Let's just say that.
I think some of the stuff's edited out on the Peacock.
Yeah. For those of you guys that are watching, before you guys go and sign off, give us a thumbs up. This will help us out. We had 6,000 views last week because people were giving us a thumbs up and helping us out, and that pushed our video to the forefront. We had over 6,000 views, our highest viewed week by a long shot. And we haven't even got to WrestleMania week yet. And I'll be there. There'll be a lot of content coming out of WrestleMania week, both prediction shows, post shows, whatever, 1 minute shorts. So very excited about that. So guys, just give us a like. That'll help us out. Let's keep the momentum going. Those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much for hopping on. I am excited about WrestleMania 40 in about exactly 2 weeks from now, to the minute. Cody Rhodes, I believe, will finish the story. I'm excited. Like I said, if he doesn't, I'm going to be pretty rowdy. I'm going to be pretty mad because I've been talking about this for a year now. And that would just make me look so bad. And I don't want to look bad. So I'm hoping that Cody wins and that my predictions from last year are correct. And I think it will be. But if it's not, Philadelphia is going to riot. You just don't do that in Philadelphia. You got to make your fans happy. But that being said, we're signing off. Greg, thank you so much for hopping on tonight. Really appreciate it. And we're going to have to reconnect and talk about your thoughts of WrestleMania 40 after it happens when we get back here in April. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much, Greg. Thank you so much for hopping on. And you all have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.